everyone, welcome to Jules' board game review, and today I'm going to read you a story. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to actually, it looks like a book, it looks like a medical tome, but it's actually a game called Organ Attack. It's 2 to 6 players. Says it's about 8 and up, but I think though 8-year-olds could play it, I think it'd be appreciated more, a little bit older, but I think an 8-year-old could probably figure it out. I think it's, when you're a little bit older, it's a little bit more fun. And it says it takes about 15 minutes. I think it takes 15 minutes if you're not all razzing and making fun of each other, but yeah, I guess 15 minutes if you're just playing it straight, but what's the fun in games if you're not razzing each other and ganging up on each other and just completely destroying one another? It just takes the fun out of games if you're not competitive like that. So Organ Attack, was invented by this guy named Nick Saluk, who's actually a cartoonist, and he has like all these, he has all these cartoons. So one, like his famous one, I think is called Heart and Brain, and it's about the heart and brain organs and how they're always kind of arguing each other, like what they have to do. Like the brain's always like, oh, this is the practical thing, and the heart's like, no, let's have fun. And sometimes the brain needs to learn to relax, and sometimes the heart, more often than not, the heart needs to learn to be a little bit more practical, which, what's the fun in that? I'm probably more of a heart than a brain. He also has Lars Online and Medical Tales Retold and some other comics, but the Heart and the Brain is the one I've seen the most, the one that gets the most popularity, and this is the one that Organ Attack is actually based off of. So he was like doing his cartoon thing, and he went for a run one day, and when he was on the run, he forgot his headphones, and he came up with the idea of how to make Heart and Brain into a game. And his brand is the Awkward Yeti. So his brand is the Awkward Yeti. So originally Organ Attack was actually funded through a Kickstarter campaign, which kicked off in November 2016. And his goal was to get 12,000. By July 17th, it made $526,000, which, that's huge. And that helped to make an expansion pack called Ready Player 6 and organ plushies, which I really want one. I have all my organs, but a plushie organ that'd be super cute. So, I don't have my tonsils, so I don't have all my organs. Or my adenoids. But I have all the other organs that are in my torso and stuff, and abdomen. But yeah, organ plushies would be super cute. Ooh, someone should get me a tonsil plushie. That would be really, really, really funny. Because I don't have my tonsil. Okay, I'm just... So originally, the way I found out about this game is I was at a summer barbecue at a friend's house, and we were just in the backyard, eating barbecue foods, and one of her friends had recently, I don't know if she graduated from medical school, I think she was still young, but pre-med or something, she just graduated, and she was medical background of some sort, and someone bought her Organ Attack as a graduation present. So we played, and I was playing, and it's this game is so much fun. It's silly, it's informative, it's interesting, the artwork is phenomenal, it's cute, and so I bought it, and I introduced it to a few people, mainly my husband and my brother-in-law, and they also loved it, and we've played so many times, and every time we play, we have fun, and it's just a great game. So it's definitely a game I recommend, especially, you can enjoy it no matter what, but especially if you're in the medical field, it's just really cute. And it was also 2017 Mensa recommended, so yay, fun, smart game. So you start by dealing out the organ cards, which this is what the back of the organ cards look like. And you deal them out evenly to whoever's playing. So they all have little pictures of organs on them, so there's the thyroid. And it gives you a little information underneath. So this one says, located in your neck, the thyroid produces hormones that regulate the metabolic rate, affecting pretty much every organ. Sometimes that power goes to his head. So they all have cute little cartoons, and they do give you a little bit of medical background or history or just little factoids. It's funny, the power can go to his head, but it's also informative. The thyroid is located in your neck. It does produce hormones. It affects your metabolic rate. And thyroid is a super, super important organ. So, they all give you a little bit, and they're all super cute. So this is the plushie I obviously need, my tonsils, because I don't have them. Located in the back of the throat, tonsils trap airborne bacteria and produce immune cells that help kill germs and prevent infections. Unless, of course, you don't have them. So, yeah, all super, super cute organs. There's a heart. He's chasing something. The tongue with his ice cream. He looks so ready for that. Spleen. It's like, boom, 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 I'm going to fight you. So they're all really, really, really cute. And you deal them out evenly, so all the organ cards are gone. And you're also going to deal out this organ card, which is the wild card that has all the organs on it. So to get an organ out, because your goal is to basically kill all your friends' organs before your organs are killed, and that's how the player will get it out. Is his organs all die. And you do that by playing different cards on them, mostly afflictions. The wild card needs, and it takes 2 afflictions to kill an organ. The wild card needs 4 afflictions to remove. And you can't bring this back. There are some cards that might let you repair an organ and bring it back, but you cannot repair the wild organ card. So if you get this card, it's great because this takes 4 afflictions to kill and it counts as an organ, but that also tends to be the person everyone aims for because you want to kind of get that big card out of the way first, I think, at least, because it takes 4 instead of 2. So then you have the attack pile, and you would deal everyone 5 attacks. Now, the attacks are afflictions, so I'll go through those. Let me see, so most of the attack cards are afflictions. So, cystic fibrosis, psoriasis, asthma, and they'll tell you on top what organs they affect. So cystic fibrosis affects 2. It affects the lungs and the what's it called? The bowel? I don't know what it's called. The pancreas. It affects the lungs and the pancreas. Psoriasis would only affect the skin. You can only play it on one. So if you play cystic fibrosis, you'd have to choose whether you want to play it on the lungs or you want to play it on the bowels. And, depending on who you're aiming for or what organs you yourself have, you're going to, if you have the lungs your friend has the what's it called? What did I say what it's called? Not the bowels. I keep on calling it the bowels. The pancreas. And your friend has the pancreas. You're not going to play it on yourself. You're going to play it on your friend. You don't want to kill your own organs and you lose the game. So yeah, lots of different afflictions, and they're all real afflictions, and they actually tell you what the affliction's about. So nosebleed, when it has a little nose on it, it says usually caused by dry air or trauma. Symptoms include stained carpet and embarrassment. So it's funny, but it's also true. You get a nosebleed because it's dried out, or because you get hit in the face with a basketball. And if you're my mom, you deviated septum from that. So lots of different things. IBS, asthma, lots of fun afflictions, right? Let me see if I can find any more. They're all shuffled in because you're supposed to shuffle them in, so they're not all in the same place. But there's so many. Let me see if I can pull them all out and I'll show you. There we go. There's all my afflictions. So I do have the expansion pack, so I have some extras, but look at all the afflictions. Look at all the medical issues you could have. And like I said, they all affect 1 to 2, sometimes multiple organs. I'm seeing if I can find one. Tendinitis affects 2. Upper respiratory infection affects your nose, your lungs, your trachea. So some cards, you can play it on tons of different people. And some cards you can only play it on one. And obviously if you have that organ, you're not going to want to play it on yourself. So you're going to try to get rid of it or something. Vomit affects 4 organs. And like I said, they're all... Look, you look so sad. That's I think your kidney. Muscular dystrophy. It's always a fun one. I have MD, so I think it's fun. So yeah, so lots of afflictions to play on lots of different organs, and that's how you kill your friends, basically, by playing that affliction on their organs. And once they have 2, they are dead and they're out of the game. And once all their organs are dead, they're dead and they're out. And yay, you killed them. Woohoo! There's also some other cards, though, that are in. It's not just afflictions and organs. So there's wild cards, I believe they're called. Yeah, they're wilds. They have a little W in them, so you know they're wilds. And they're also afflictions, but they might be played a little bit... No, they're all afflictions. But they're not necessarily... So there's like malpractice, botched surgery, hemorrhage, infection, and those are wild cards. So they're played as afflictions, so you can play it on a card and count it as an affliction, but they're not necessarily a medical issue. They're, you know, like a botched surgery, which can cause so many problems. Then there is also, let's see, so here's some more wild cards. And they're also, yeah, like neglect, hypochondria, which, you know, is when people think they're sick and they're not. Or they think everything's sick. Then there's also wild instant cards. So the wild instants are wilds, but they also have a flame next to them, which means you don't have to wait till your turn to play. You can just play them anytime. It can be Joe's turn over there, and you're like, ma'am, instant wild, boom. And they're outbreaks. They're all outbreaks. And you play it as an affliction against any opponent at any time. And you got these crazy little outbreak guys going, we're gonna get you. So those are outbreaks. We also have some of these fun cards. I'm trying to they're all, like I said, they're all kind of sorted together. So I'm like trying to make it so they're all like in their own special little pile. So I can go through them. There we go. So then we have tactical cards. And there's tactical instants and there's tactical non-instant. So some you have to wait for your turn. If it has a little flame, that means it's instant, which means you can play it any time. Like this one, narcolepsy. And if it doesn't have the flame, you have to wait till your turn, like this one. It's alive! And they're different things. So narcolepsy is a sudden attack of sleep, so you play it so that player cannot make any moves the next full round. So they're not necessarily afflictions, it's not going to kill an organ, but it does hurt it hurts another player because now they have to wait and they can't play on anyone. There's one called situs inversus, which is a rare condition which some organs like the heart and lungs are reversed, and that would reverse the order of play. So you're going clockwise, now you're all of a sudden going counterclockwise, which, you know, if Susie Q is sitting on your left-hand side and you want her to have to wait, you could just, bam, situs inversus, and you can't play, now you have to wait a whole other round. So it's alive, you can get an organ back, any organ. Transplant, you can take an organ from a partner. Sedate, you take a player out for 2 turns. Then there's contagious, which upon being attacked, you can instantly play this card as any affliction wild against any opponent, and you don't count as an turn because it's an instant. So there's 3 of those, which, hey, that's awesome. Like you want to like get someone out and it's not your turn, you can be like, oh, haha, guess what? And then there's the common cold, which I hate this card. Because you pass this card to an opponent and take one of their cards without seeing it, but you can't actually ever discard this card. This card just goes around and around and around, just like the common cold. I see what you did there, Nick. Very clever. But it's annoying because you can't actually get rid of the common cold in this game. It just goes around and around. And people are taking cards from each other, and it's really sucky. So that's the common cold. And then there's some other things that I have to show you about. So we're going to go through all the bad stuff first, all the afflictions and stuff. So there's necrosis, which is organ death. And that actually takes out an entire organ, except if it's the wild organ. In that case, it only counts as 2 afflictions, not 4. So it can take out an organ, it's not the wild. And so there's 1 instant, but the rest are just you play on your turn. That's necrosis. Kills an organ. Then there's poisoned. Dun dun dun. You have to remove your own organ, and you can't block that card. So though there is cards that do block problems, that card cannot be blocked. And then there's metastasis, I think, not metastasis, right? Metastasis. And They're wilds. They're instants. They're flame. And this is you play an infliction, and you can actually use this card to spread it to another organ. So let's say you're playing Crohn's. You can be like, oh, but that's gonna actually spread to the gallbladder, and then you can like hurt 2 organs instead of just 1. Then there's research cards. Some are instant, some are not. And this, like, you discard, you trade hands, you switch stuff, you put all your organs down and redraw. There's like mix-ups. So like there's a bunch of different stuff that can happen. They're kind of like wild cards. Like you don't really know what you're gonna get. And then there's these beautiful blue cards, which are all helpful cards. So there is the cure, and then there's resistance. So like some help you like completely cure, which are the ones with the little teardrop on them. So like medical miracle, remove 2 afflictions. Medicine, remove 1 affliction. And then there's resistance, which are mostly like vaccines. And I'm not going to get into arguing whether vaccines are good or bad, or whether you're anti-vax, or you get your vaccines like the flu shot regularly if you got your COVID. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just here saying, in this game that actually has some medical background, vaccines are a good thing. So this protects you from affliction and necrosis for 2 turns. This instantly blocks an turn. So this is an instant card, and it blocks an opponent's play. So it's immunity boost. And then there's cryopreservation, unable to play and invulnerable to all opponents' moves for 2 turns. So you can't play, but you're also invulnerable. So they can't attack you, but you can't attack them, and that's cryopreservation. There's only one of those. So yeah, so lots of ways to hurt each other, lots of ways to block. Super fun. So you just keep on playing until someone's basically out of organs, and then you play until someone's the only one left with, you probably 1 organ with an affliction on it, but they're still hanging on there by 1 organ, and that's how you keep on playing until someone's out, and you get to enjoy the cute little cartoons, and you get to like read a little bit about each organ or each affliction. They do give you some tips and strategies in the rulebook, which is really cool. So like they're like, yo, try to get that wild card out first. Like that's 4, the other ones are 2. Like maybe aim for that. Save certain cards as long as you can, because you might want them for later, especially later in the game. Then they have also advanced play ideas, which is like remove all or most of the wild cards. Instead of redrawing cards to have 5 in your hands all the time, redraw only when your hand is empty. Each player has to play all playable cards in their hand before the end of the turn, or increase afflictions from 2 to 3 to extend the game. So when you play a card, you're always like playing and picking up. So you're always going to have 5 cards in your hand. And you have to play, but if you have no playable cards, you can discard 2 attacks and draw 2 more, but that's your turn. Like, you can't play then. You just discard and respond. And usually, like, I never really find that I don't have any cards I can't play. Usually I at least have 1 that I can play. But let's say all your afflictions are only affecting your organs and not any other organs, you can do that, because you're not going to play on yourself. So yeah. Oh, and then if you get through all the attack cards and there's still organs left, while you're playing them, you're discarding them, you just take the discard pile, you shuffle it up, you put them back, and you start from the get-go with, you start using them over again. So that's how you would keep playing. Like I said, super fun, lots of laughs, lots of, I got your organ or whatever, I got your gallbladder, haha, your gallbladder's gone, like, So, I think there's definitely a lot of pros to this game. So one of it, I'd say it's very fun. It's a very, very funny game. Like I said, there's a lot of laughs when you play this game, a lot of razzing each other, and as someone who is in the medical field, I think it's adorable, I think it's interesting, I think it's very medically accurate. Like, the afflictions do affect those organs, and there is, like, other things that I think are just really cool. And I think even if you're not in the medical field, I think it's a game that you can enjoy. Like, my husband is in the medical field, my brother-in-law is not, and he also loves this game, so it's fun. it's illustrated. Like, the illustrations are adorable. I mean, he is a cartoonist, so that makes sense, but they're super, super, super cute. And if you're ever, like, online, like, the Heart and Brain comics, I look them up from time to time, and they always make me giggle, or at least smile, and they're adorable. Um, and it's 2 to 6 players, so you can just play, like, at home with your hubby or your friend, or you can have a party. And I mean, 6 players isn't, like, a giant party, but 6 players is enough for, like, a family game or like a dinner or whatever. Like, I think last game night I had, we had 6 people. So this game, we didn't break it out. We played some other games, but this game would have been one that we could have played easily. So that's awesome. So this is more luck based than the average game. There is some strategy involved, but it is definitely luck based. I think also strategy can be like you make alliances, which I always do when I play. But so if you're like big into like high strategy games and you don't really like luck based games, this probably isn't a game for you. It's not like, there are games that are really, really high strategy. This is not one of them. I don't mind. I like luck and strategy games, so I'm fine with it. Some of the directions are a little unclear in the packet. I know when I've played, we've been like, I'm not sure, does this count as it? And it doesn't really tell you in the directions. So that one you just kind of have to like, and it's not a lot. I think there's like 1 or 2 directions in there that are unclear. Like, and it's nothing, it doesn't really affect your gameplay. But that might be something that you have to kind of either make a house rule for or just kind of like guess. And I can't even think of what any of the rules are right now. I just know there is like 1 or 2 that were like, but I can't even think of what it is. So it really couldn't have been that big a deal. And I've still played multiple times and have fun. So, and the only other con, which is it can be a little insensitive or unappealing to some cards, like the cancer card, the organ death card, like those can be a little upsetting, especially if you've recently dealt with anything medically upsetting. You just gotta keep in mind, like, know who you're playing with, know that they're gonna be okay, and obviously that it is just a game. It's meant to be funny. It's not meant to hurt your feelings. If you're not up for laughing at medical problems, maybe this isn't the right game, or maybe not the right time. I know I still laugh at, I have some medical issues. I have muscular dystrophy. I still think it's fun. My brother-in-law, asthma, he still thinks it's fun. Obviously that's not like cancer, but you know, if it's going to be upsetting or you think your friend's going to be upset, maybe don't break out the game, but it really isn't meant to hurt your feelings. It's meant to be funny. It's meant to be informative. It's meant to be cute. So that could be a con, but again, just kind of know who you're playing with and make sure that you're okay with joking about medical issues rather than being upset, because it's really not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. But that's what we're going to tack for you. Put it on the shelf like a book. And I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, keep playing. Bye.